There we go. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Aurogiri, and today we are doing a Gawain guide. So we're specifically talking about this little girl down here. She's not really a little girl. She's quite large if you give her the chance. We're talking about Gawain. Gawain of King Arthur's Knights of the Round Table, re-envisioned into a sexy female, blonde and busty knight, just like Saber from Fate's Stay Night and Lancelot and all those other characters. Anyway, Gawain. Gawain is here, and we will talk about Gawain. Yes, the jiggles. Fun fact, Gawain and Ho-Oh have confirmed jiggle physics when they run and they attack. We will explore them later. This guy, a bod, got an RTA ranking of 5. Nice. That's random and weird. She sleeps for 10 hours a day. Alright. So let's pop open her little list. No, it's not a list. It's a her page, and let's have a look at her. It's already here actually, but there's Gawain. So Gawain is strong against monster type, weak against specter type, strong against monster, strong against specter, and weak against beast, and she is neutral against soul type. So I checked on the wiki, and how that affects Gawain is that, let me just pop that up again, just have a quick look at it. Against soul type, she does neutral damage. That means 1.0 times damage. Against the monster type, she's going to do 1.5 damage, so 50% more damage against the monster type and the specter type. And against the beast type, she does 0.7 times damage. So her damage is essentially 30% less on beast types, which is pretty good. It means you're not doing half damage, but you are doing reduced damage in those encounters. So logically, when using Gawain, who's primarily a vanguard that uses Slice, Holy, and Fire, you'd want to find a good matchup against monster enemies and specter enemies and the odd soul type enemy that would be weak to one of those three things, being Slice, Holy, and Fire. That's where Gawain's really going to excel, and if you find those matchups against monster types or specter types, then she's going to decimate them incredibly. So that's Gawain type-wise and element-wise, and let's just go over her further in depth. So, like we said, she is Slice, Fire, and Holy, and if we look at the distribution here, she gains 50 Slice upon swap, 30 Fire upon swap, and 100 Holy upon swap, and negative 50 Dark. Is she good in the story? I'm pretty sure she could carry you through the story quite easily. Any Vanguard, for that matter, could carry you through the OG story quite very easily, so long as you're actually wearing weapons and progressing along with the story, for sure. She would defeat Satan if you bright homing and filled her up. You know, she could do a lot of stuff. So if we look at this, like, her fire element isn't that grand. It's only plus 30, which is not substantial, but a lot of her moves do use fire, so it does help having the extra fire, having the extra holy. The 100 holy is huge. That's a huge holy boost, so she's definitely a very holy vanguard for sure. She gives you 2500 HP, 15% HP, 150 SP, 15% SP, pretty standard. SP reduction when you swap doesn't really matter because you're only using her skills anyway. When you block, you take 30% less damage. And she gives you 20 movement speed, which is a lot, and 10% attack upon swapping, and 10 power. Interesting. So you get extra attack speed and health for swapping. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, she's essentially the Odachi Vanguard for sure. So let's go to her skills real quick. So we already have 4 weapons set up to some degree, and her weapon is the Galatine. Okay, so let's just look at her skills on the right here. So we have Enchanting Glow Light and Enchanting Glow Radiance. Radiance is only unlocked at Awakening level 3, whereas light is unlocked at level 1. It's always there. And on the wiki, we're very thankful that the people that run the wiki have a page on Gawain. And it goes over her skills, and I was pouring over them in between making this update, listen to me, making this guide. So there is Enchanting Glow Light and Enchanting Glow Radiance. And based on what I can see here, is that they're the same skill, I think. I believe, based on what it's saying on the wiki, they are essentially the same skill. However, Radiance lasts for 30 seconds and Light lasts for 10 seconds. It also states that you cannot use multiple enchant skills at the same time. So we see this with Tristan, when I did the Tristan guide, was that you were unable to use, like, let's say, her big buff skill on one weapon, and then swap to another weapon, and then use it again. That's how they're programming it. So they're making it so that, unlike with Miyamoto with Heart, on these newer Vanguards like Gawain, you can't really use Enchanting Glow Light on one weapon, and then switch weapon, and then expect to use Enchanting Glow Light again. Or at least that's how it sounds like on paper. We still have to go into the dungeons and test this, but that seems to be how it's looking based on how this is worded. That's awesome, Goldenwind. This is great. Great timing. So Radiance is unlocked at 3 Awakening Scrolls, and Light is unlocked at default. So basically Radiance should be a bit better. Yeah, Toshi and Maeda can do that for sure. But it's some skills that are like that. So then she has a skill called Eliminator, and you hear her say Eliminator all the time. At rank 7, it has a skill force of 880. This move is 30% slice and 70% holy, and it is a 3 combo move. So that's actually a lot of skill force for a 3 combo move. It's probably really, really strong. You unlock the final form at level 80. And we will test these moves out after a bit. We're just going to look at them for sure for first here. But we're definitely going to test them. The move is a 7-second cooldown, and that's not really long at all. So with cooldown mags and stuff, it's not even gonna phase you. And that's its starting skill force. Its final skill force, when fully leveled to 70, is 1,144. So that's actually really good for a combo skill. The next move on here is Sacred Thrust, and it is as powerful as it is sounding sexual, because it is the Sacred Thrust. So Sacred Thrust 5 and 6 are unlocked all the time. It is a Holy Fire and Slice move, but the final form, the rank 7, Sacred Strike 7, is unlocked at level 95, and you need an Awakening level of 3. So this is something we saw with Lancelot. Gawain also shares this trait, where you do need at least 3 scrolls to really maximize her input, or damage output, essentially. That's funny. In the game, it says you unlock this at level 95, but on the wiki, it says you unlock the final form at level 70. So there's going to be some inconsistencies. Yep, Sacred Thrust. How do you get Chifuri to open the portal in Onigashima? You have to complete, like, Kishinden and go to Kumaso and do things like that. You have to go through the story a little bit, and then Chifuri will show up, and you have to talk Chifuri in the Rift. But continuing on, Sacred Thrust, as we see here, has a skill force of like 3,000. It starts at 3,038, but we've used it a bit, so it's at 3,083. This skill force maxes out at 4,073. So it gains another 1,000 skill force, and it is 40% slice, 30% fire, 30% holy. And it's got a heck of a lot of skill force at rank 7. Definitely worth the 3 scrolls. We'll find out for sure, but skill force wise it is. If you don't have 3 scrolls and you're using the rank 6 version of this, the skill will cap out at 2,460 skill force, which is still quite a daunting number. The next skill, I believe, is Spirit Curve. So Spirit Curve rank 7, 2,345 skill force, unlocks at level 90. It maxes out to about 3,093 skill force at rank 7. And this move is 50% slice, 50% holy. So we're seeing a trend here. But this Spirit Curve has a niche on one of your weapons where, let's say you want to use Gawain for her moves that are holy and not fire. Let's say the boss is resistant to fire but weak to holy. Let's say that exists in some situation. You'd rather use Spirit Curve over another move if the fire is bringing your damage down, in that situation. Next is Corona Stab. And if you've ever played with a Gawain player, you've always heard her say, Corona Stabu, because she says it all the time. And we're going to find out why she says it all the time by looking at this skill. So Corona Stab, there's a little description for it here. It says, dashing out, drawing out the power of light, use your sword to unleash it. If the attack hits, now here's a bonus on Corona Light that's not listed here. Corona Light, if it hits, there is an X chance, an X being a 30% chance at rank 7, so 20% at rank 5, 25 at rank 6, and 30% at rank 7. There's a 30% chance a Blessing of Light and Flame buff will be applied for 10 seconds. So that makes Corona Stab a very, very essential move, because when you use it, there's a chance it's going to buff Gawain. So that means you want to pretty much always start a fight with Corona Stab to try and get this buff. It does last only for 10 seconds, but it is a buff of light and flame. So I'm not sure if it's a full out damage multiplier for 10 seconds, but if it is, that's pretty awesome. So Corona Stab has the power to trigger that. I believe it is a ranged attack, like you stab forward and energy comes out. Like a projectile, and it does cap out at near 3,000 skill force, and it is 30 fire and 70 holy, so there's no physical element on it. So if an enemy is mega resistant to slice or pierce or something like that, this would be the move you'd want to hit them with, so you wouldn't get that reduction in damage. Now if we go down here, the next move should be Salvation. So there's Salvation 5, 6, and 7. Salvation unlocks at level 75. Okay, so Salvation, like Corona Stab, has a chance to grant you the Blessing of Light and Flame. So Salvation, it says you create a solar magic square by focusing your mind and demolish the enemies around you. So it's an AoE kind of move. Maybe it's a multi-hit. We'll find out about that in a little bit. But Salvation 7's skill force starts at 2,600, and at the end it caps out at 3,500 skill force, which is really, really good. This move is 100% holy, and that's important to know. So if you're fighting enemy resistant to holy, I don't know why you're using Gawain, but this move is going to be 100% holy. You can fully stack holy if you're using Miyamoto accessories, or even Gawain accessories, or anything that's going to give you holy. Maybe you have a Prodigal Mag or a Mod Mag that gives holy. Or when the new Makami Mag comes in the future, Makami Oguchi's Magatama, that's going to have Ice and Holy on it. So maybe you get a holy build going. You go in with Gawain, you're going to want to use those holy moves. Really good potential right there for damage. Really good to have 100% holy attack. This one caps out at a 20% chance to give you the buff for 10 seconds. So that's Salvation. So now going down the list, I believe we have outfit locked abilities. And there is a butt ton of these. So this should be Black Cat. This is from the Halloween outfit. We don't have access to that yet, but it is a pretty strong move. I've seen it. It is locked at rank 3. We can't really talk about it though. Magic Broom. We can't talk about that. Then there's Fire, which is Roundo Lantern. And then we go down again, and there's the Summer Outfit Watermelon Smash, which we did not get, which has a lot of skill force on it. Then we have Spring Glow Fire and Spring Glow Blaze. So these two buffs would be the equivalent of Enchanting Glow Light and Enchanting Glow Radiant. And this would essentially be giving Gawain fire buffs. And in order to get those, you would need the Spring Dawn Gawain outfit unlocked. So similar concept, instead of light, it's fire. Then we have Spring Glow Eliminator, so basically a wind fire version of Eliminator as opposed to a holy fire version of Eliminator. Then we have down here Sacred Thrust, Spring Glow. So again, I think all of these spring things, if you do have the outfit, it really just takes the regular moves that Gawain has, reuses them, but replaces the holy attribute for a wind attribute, which really combos very, very well with the recently released Akane accessories. The Akane accessories give you attack and affinity for Spear, Sword, Odachi, and Axe, but they also give you fire and wind element on them, and they just combo really well with these attacks. Just something to keep in mind if you do happen upon those accessories and you have Gawain, because they are all in the same unit right now. That's why we're making the guide, now. This move here, this should be Spring Dawn Corona Stab. Same thing. The Spring Dawn Corona Stab would probably be different, that it wouldn't give you a holy buff, but it would probably give you a fire and wind buff as opposed to the regular Corona Stab, which gives you light or holy and fire. I would assume that to be the case. Then we have Spring Ghost Salvation, same thing. And then we have a dark skill here, which is Spring Glow Fawn's Swing. Don't know what that is, but it is a fire and wind attack all together. I'm not sure if it's the little paddle attack or not, but there it is. Can we go lower? And there's one final skill. This is the Spring Glow Battle Prosperity Fortune, which is unlocked if you have the Spring Dawn Gawain outfit, and it does a thing. I don't know what it does. It doesn't say, sadly. So next we have to look at her Ogis and just get our impression of those. So how many Ogis does she have? We have Glorious Sanction, we have Sacred Divider, we have Hell Heliosphere, which sounds epic as all awesomeness. And then we have Impervious Bash, and then Belinus Salvation. After that, it should be a bunch of Spring Dawn locked abilities, and maybe a Halloween locked ability. So, yeah, Ogi, Spring Gloria, Sanction. Then we have, SG Sacred Divider. So basically a fire wind version of all her regular Ogis. Impervious Bash, Belinus Salvation. This one is First Sunrise. I believe that is an exclusive attack just for the Spring Dawn outfit change, and I think it is reminiscent to when we did the Kenshin guide and she could summon Mount Fuji. I think they go together, so Mount Fuji and the First Sunrise, Land of the Rising Sun, going over the mountaintop. I believe that is what that is. And yeah. And then the last move here is the New Year's Calligraphy, which is a pretty cool move. We use it on I think we used it on Kenshin, and it was kind of fun. You need at least 2 scrolls to get it, plus the Awakening outfit. Kind of a big drag, but it does have huge amounts of skill force. Alright, so now that we've gone over every skill on paper, let's look at how these weapons are built up and try out every move and see what we like, see what we don't like. Unlike characters like Miyamoto that just have a slew of skills to choose from, Gawain is a bit more streamlined in her skills. Because if we look at general buff and will some of the event come back to help Gawain? They will probably rerun Spring Dawn Gawain in the future, maybe. Hopefully, when they might. I'm not sure. I think they did rerun it on New Year's last year, but I'm not sure. But we have the two buffs, and I think Radiance just replaces Light because you can't use them both at the same time. So I think Radiance is just better to use, but we'll figure that out. But there's Eliminator, Sacred Thrust, Spirit Curve, Corona Stab, Salvation. So at base, she only really has 5 skills to choose from, plus a buff. So buff 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 different skills, 4 different weapons. How are we gonna do this? Okay. So right now we have Enchanting Glow Light, Eliminator, Spirit Curve, Divider, and Sanction. So I think the smartest way to play would probably be, or the smartest way to set her up, essentially. I believe it's going to be to use the buff moves on the first weapon. Just have them there. Always have your buff moves, like have the Enchanting Glow Radiant, and then have Corona Stab and Salvation. Something like that, so you can trigger your buffs, and then have Ogies. That's the most reliable Ogie that we'll find. We'll have that there. And then after you use your buffs on your first weapon, you switch to other weapons and fight whatever needs be. I think that's the smartest way to play, but that's just theory at this point. A game theory. Okay, so let's do some swapping real quick. We'll throw on Radiance, like the same thing I just talked about. We'll try that. Corona Stab and Salvation. We'll see how that goes. As for Ogies, I don't know if we really need to double up or not. I'm not too versed on how her Ogies go, but we won't double up for now because we need to test out all the Ogies. So right now we have Sacred Divider 6 instead of 7, but we can try it out without wasting a swap, so we'll leave that as it is, and we'll try those skills. Okay. On weapon 2, we have Glow Radiance, Corona Stab. So this weapon, I should have looked at weapon 2, because weapon 2 is literally what I just made weapon 1. You have Dart Mags on? All right, we'll change them for sure. We will adjust. We will adjust. Yeah, you don't want to wear Knowledge Mags with Gawain, okay? You're gonna have a serious damage drop. It's a good point to bring up because Knowledge Mags are very much meta at this point, so it would be best to not, like, if you use Gawain and you have Knowledge Mags, you're gonna have a bad time. Don't do it. Alright, so weapon 2, I guess we're gonna try out a different move. I really want to try Sacred Thrust and Spirit Curve. And then we have Glorious Sanction and Bellinus. We'll put that there. Burger King foot lettuce. Whoa. Yes, mags do affect vanguards. If you don't have mags, you don't have built up weapons, vanguards are not gonna be that good. Okay, so yeah, we do have 2 Glorious Sanctions. What's on this weapon? Heliosphere and Impervious Bash, and there's nothing on the 4th weapon. Okay, cool. So we got Divider Sanction, Sanction Salvation, Heliosphere, Bash. I think that's all the Ogies. Yep. So Salvation, Bash, Heliosphere, Divider, and Gloria. Okay. Yay. Alright, so we got Radiance, Radiance. We do have a Light. That's good. That is good. So Sacred Thrust, Spirit Curve, Corona Stab, Salvation, Spirit Thrust. Okay. So on this weapon, let's look at our normal skills. What have we not touched? We have Corona Stab, Salvation. We have Thrust, Curve. There's one other skill that she has that we don't have on. I think so. It's salvation, stab, curve, and thrust. An eliminator. Eliminator. I don't think we had eliminator. We didn't have eliminator. So we gotta throw eliminator on this weapon. Oh boy. Hi. Sorry about that. Oh my god, go away. Anyway, sorry about that. But I muted the headset because of distractions. But I'm back. Should you get Shingen to 100? You should get every Vanguard to 100. Alright, so we grabbed Eliminator. We have every Ogi, every skill. Let's go attest him. So we just got to change our equipment to optimally build this up here. So right now we have Mastery Mags, which is not good, because those are going to be negative. Those are going to be negative holy, and we don't want to do that. So a general build, we're just going to go in with 3 Tempest. So that's the perspective of this video. This guide is going to be under the assumption that we are playing with Tempest. We are 130. And we will be wearing Nobunaga accessories. Okay. That was a nice 169. So in case you're unfamiliar with what kind of skill force we're playing with here, our attack when we swap is going to be about 72,000 give or take, because other side actually gives buffs, so it's better to look at Fallen Star. Our attack's going to be about 63,000 when we swap, and our elements are neutral holy, negative wind, negative lightning, 100 rain, 90 mountain, the fire won't matter, and the flight doesn't matter. Nothing really matters for our elements, just the fact that we don't have negative holy going into this. We're going to be going in with 80 cooldown, 273 crit force, 25 attack speed. Pretty standard stuff. Skill force of 300 plus. Alright. So the islands, usually when I do these videos I go to arcanes, but I figured islands would be really fun when it comes to filling up vanguards and testing and doing all that stuff. So let's try her out on Wananashi Island, on Hell. Wananashi, I believe it is the giant Gaki as the boss, and I don't know what his typing is. I know he took good damage from lightning, but I'm pretty sure Gawain will just stomp all over him. Alright, so how do we fill up lamps? Oh, we got a lucky box. You really can't fill up in the first room? Huh. So let's head over to Wispa and see what we can see. Oh, I remember this. Alright, so there we got our swap. Corona stab. Wow, it pierced everything. That's really fun. What's salvation? It's glorious. There's our buff. There it is. We glow on fire. Element will be increased when Gawain Squills is used. Okay. So it's an element buff. So it directly buffs element. It's not a damage multiplier. And salvation has a chance of triggering it. I'm not sure if it's a trigger based on hit or a trigger based on how many times you hit an enemy. I think it's a trigger on hit because it would have triggered and all of that. There's no way it wouldn't have. There, we got it triggered on Corona Stab. And yeah, I don't think you can multi-trigger it. Who's alive? Alright, so when we have that active, we can activate multiple radiances. What the hell? It lied to me. You can activate them both. Wow, okay. So Enchanting Glow, Light, and Radiant can stack. That's amazing. That's amazing. Can we activate another one? Oh, we can. We can activate this all day. You can have 3 of them. Oh my god. You can activate all 4. That's amazing. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I had no idea. So you can have like radiance. You can have them all going. You can have buffs going. You don't want a buff on every weapon, just so you can keep it going. Yeah, just like Oda's right. Alright, goodbye, Mr. Boss. That's really sick. That's really awesome. Yeah. If your cooldown's fast enough, you can have like 7 of these. Oh my god. Okay. Alright, we learned so much in 30 seconds. Oh my god. So the wiki's wrong. You can activate multiple. And they appear. They must be active. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. That's kind of crazy. So I guess you want a radiant on every weapon. You do. Absolutely do. I went to inventory. I don't even know what I'm doing. Okay, back to the drawing board we go. Okay. Like, that's hype mode. That's hype mode engaged. Okay. Okay. So you can have Enchanting Glow, Light, and Radiant. That's interesting. That's really, really interesting. Okay. And I think Radiance is just better than Light. What does Light do? So, Light is the same thing as Radiance, but it lasts less time. Based on the wiki, Light gives you an element, a temporary increase to power of your skill attributes. So, it gives you extra element when you use those skills. Yeah. The wiki doesn't show that one gives more than the other, but Light lasts less than Radiance. But the thing I'm thinking about right now is that you can have them all active at the same time. That means if you had a quick enough finger, you could have 8 active at a time, if not more, if you just kept constantly switching it. It's not practical, you wouldn't have that many, but theoretically, if you put Light Radiance, Light Radiance, Light Radiance, Light Radiance, Light Radiance on every single weapon, you could just be like you could go with a build like, let's say, Light Radiance Corona Stab on one weapon, Light Radiance Sacred Thrust on another weapon, and then Light Radiance Eliminator on another weapon, Light Radiance Spirit Curve on another weapon, and then Light Radiance Salvation on another weapon, let's say. And then you'd have whatever Ogis on every weapon, because Gawain only has 5 Ogis. Sanction, Divider, Heliosphere, Bash, and Salvation at base. She only has that many Ogis. So theoretically, you could do a build where you have Radiant, Light, Attack, Radiant, Light, Attack, Radiant, Light, Attack, and then Radiant, Attack, Attack. And then just have Ogis. Because 9 out of 10 times on a Vanguard, unless it's a specific move like Miyamoto's Flash or Retribution, you tend to just use Ogis the entire time anyway. That being the case, it would not be a bad idea to go and try a build like that. To have Gawain constantly buffing herself with buffs on every weapon, similarly to how we play Oda, and just relying on Ogis. I think that would be very effective. Like, that would be how I would play her in general anyway. Like, most Vanguards, it's buff, specific attack if you need it, like Collapsing Blade, or Kieran's Fireballs, or Flash or Retribution, any specific one-shot skills that are really good, or you're just spamming Ogis. You know, that's generally how you play, based on situation. I think that's the prime way to build her. I think it works. It sounds very simple. It's just buff, attack, buff, attack, attack, buff, attack. I think that's how it's done. I really think that's how it's done. The fact that you can just stack these buffs and they don't cancel each other out and they just work and you just always have buffs active, I think it's how it's done. Real quick, I want to check if there's an Ogi that can give you, because some of the attacks would be able to give you buffs. I want to double check if the Ogis are able to give buffs as well. Combination attack. Okay. So Heliosphere, the Ogi Heliosphere has a 50% chance of giving you a buff. Alright, Thunder, see ya, man. Have a good night, dude. Heliosphere has a chance of giving you a buff. And Impervious Bash has a chance of giving you a buff. Okay, so with that knowledge in mind, we probably should build, like, generally I like to have it so that characters have most of their buffs on the 4th weapon. But since Gawain's going to be using buffs on every weapon, I think the ideal way to set her up is going to be Radiance, like, I think Radiance Light Stab is the way you'd build up your first weapon, because Stab is a ranged attack and that's always just advantageous to have. I would go Radiance Light Stab and then 2 Ogis, and those could be any 2 Ogis we like. Heliosphere is that holy move. Divider is Holy Slice and Fire. Gloria is also just Holy and Slice. Impervious Bash is Fire and Holy. And Salvation is just Holy. So the ones that are going to give us the buff for Ogis are Heliosphere and Bash. And Salvation, actually. However, Heliosphere has a 50% chance to trigger a buff. Impervious Bash has a 5% chance of triggering a buff. And Belinus has a 10% chance of triggering the buff. So Heliosphere is the one that's going to trigger the buff the most. So Heliosphere should probably be... I feel like with Gawain, you wouldn't even want to just switch weapons. You want to just start, buff, attack, use Ogi's buff, and then switch down to your second weapon to use your strongest Ogi's. I think that's how I would do it. So you'd probably want to run Heliosphere 7. And then depending on the cooldown, we don't even know. It is an 11-second cooldown, so could not even be that. It might not be that bad. So you'd probably run Heliosphere and either Salvation or Bash, just because you want to have buff Ogies. Salvation, they all have really good skill, like really high skill force. All these moves have really high skill force. Okay, so I'm gonna grab Heliosphere in the bottom slot, and then I will grab Bash Salvation. Salvation. Which one has the 10%? Salvation has a 10%. Okay, that's what I would do for my first weapon. Okay. And then on the second weapon, I would go Radiance. On the second weapon, I would actually have this be the weapon that attacks. Because that's the quickest weapon. Like, if you're like me and you use up on your D-pad to trigger your mount, if you do down to switch weapon, you'd automatically go to the second weapon first. So you'd want to make your second weapon the one that deals the most damage. So this would be the one where we would just run one Radiance, and we would run like, how strong was Spirit Curve again? How strong was that? 2000. Spirit Thrust is really strong. Eliminator is, I don't know how strong Eliminator is. And Salvation was that big AoE attack. Yeah, I think this is fine right now because we haven't tested these skills yet, but I would run it like that. And then Gloria Sanction, I think that is the strongest Ogi. Like, it sounds like it's really, really powerful. It's a combo move, so it's probably really strong. You'd probably run Sanction Divider like we have right now. Or no, that's Salvation, I'm sorry. Frozen Hell Mag is negative fire. And with Gawain's 30 fire, you'd lose. Interesting. Good point. Good point. I didn't know it had negative fire. It might be able to trade itself off for the holy, but it's a good point. It's a good point to bring up. Thank you. But I will put Divider here. I think Gloria Divider sounds good. But your Spring Dawn outfit. Spring Dawn. It's wind. Yeah, it wouldn't matter if you have. Yeah, if we ever get holy or fire knowledges, yeah, for sure. Or if you want, go build a staff, like some staff mags, or yeah, I mean staff mags. That's going a bit extreme to get that holy, but yeah, you could do it. Fire and wind, yeah, fire and wind. Okay, so this weapon, what do we have? Heals your salvation, Gloria Divider. On this one, we're going to put our Radiance on top, just because it's better. Then Light. Then Spirit Curve. I don't think we have Eliminator yet, so we'll just leave that there. Or maybe we do. Yeah, we have Stab, Curve. Yeah, we're gonna put Salvation. Yeah. Okay. Radiant, Light, and then salvation, because really, you didn't click. We're gonna put salvation, because that's the other buff move. And then... maybe not salvation here, actually. I will go back to eliminator. And then... just because I'm thinking, if your first weapon, you bring it out, you buff, you change weapon, you're doing your damage weapon. Okay, you change weapon again. What's that going to bring to the table? Well, more buffs, and you want more damage. So this way we can make it so that the first weapon and the fourth weapon have the most of our buffs and moves that can give buffs, and the middle two weapons are going to be our damage dealers. So that means you can buff, attack, switch weapons, attack, switch weapons, buff, and then buff, and then just go on your way. I think that's a good way to do it. Or we could be in the situation where we go, you know, buff on the first weapon, swap to the second weapon, do damage, swap to the next weapon, buff, and then the next weapon, damage. And that way you'd have a continuous flow of a buff weapon into a damage weapon, into a buff weapon, into a damage weapon, into a buff weapon, into a damage weapon. And that just seems to flow with Gawain's style, and I think that's probably a good approach to take, to be honest. So I will put it to salvation in that regard. And then Bash was the other one that could do the boost, was that right? Bash had the chance. Heliosphere has it the highest, and then Bash and salvation. So yeah, Heliosphere, Bash, that's fine the way it is. But I kind of like consistency. I kind of want to swap them, just because I had Heliosphere in the final slot earlier. I'd want consistency, just so that I know that, okay, on every weapon it's the final skill. That's what I would like. Okay, it's kind of being picky, but at the same time, for consistency, you do it. Okay, and then the last weapon. So what is it? Buff, and then buff, attack, and then buff, and then attack, or buff, attack. And the last weapon, we change that to Radiance. And then we can grab... what have we not grabbed yet? We have Stab, Thrust and Curve. We need Eliminator. On this weapon, I'll probably grab... buff, attack, buff, attack. Okay. So we'll grab Radiance, and I'm gonna want since we have to double up on a skill at some point, I'd probably take another Corona Stab and then Eliminator 7. Now that's how we're doing this looking on paper, essentially. And then we'd again go with Gloria and Divider, because they sound the strongest. Yeah. Now it could just so happen that as we play along, we're gonna, I know this is for 50 minutes in, but we're gonna try this build out and we're gonna see how it goes. And my thoughts are that the cooldown might be a bit bad on some of these moves, especially the damaging ones. And in that case, on these weapons that we have Gloria, we have Sanction and Divider, it might just be better to run double Divider, double Sanction in those cases. Or maybe even just double Heliosphere. It's just, we gotta try out every move, and I just think this is the best way to go about it, knowing, now that we know how the buffs work. Alright, so let's get into more of the practical. So Pebble Bay, fire. I don't think the bosses really matter. I don't want to fight the crab, that's for sure. I don't want to fight no crab. Don't want to fight Banjiro. Basho, let's go fight Basho. I'm not afraid of him. Let's see how she does. Oh. Oh, earlier I said, how come I didn't fill up in the first room? That's because Gawain, our Gawain is a 4-star Vanguard. Or 4-star, listen to me. She is a 5-star, but she's a 4-scroll Vanguard. At this rate, we're probably just gonna, in this dungeon, we'll probably just fill up for the boss. Because there's not that many mobs to even try her out on. Which makes me just want to go back to Wananashi. Or, I guess we'll go to Banju. Next round, we'll go to Banju. He did. Wow. I wonder though, like right now I'm on the islands because it's kind of fun and nostalgic, but I wonder is there any boss that Gawain would just be really good against, like someone weak to holy that we could try it out on? You use your own logos, okay. How is that? Methy? That would take forever to fill up on. Or did he try her out on all of them? It was slow, my bro. Oof. Oh. I'm getting this chest. What do you mean? Okay. The purple Mephi? I don't know if I can beat purple Mephi. But, oof. Alright. Let's see what we can do. Oh, he doesn't have a cutscene. Or he already did. Oh, there he is. Okay. Damage cap from stat. What's Spirit Curve? Okay, multi-hit. Spirit Thrust. Ooh, he did. So Sacred Thrust is kind of slow. It comes out. Curve is a dash, but it has to hit the enemy. Sanction has to hit the enemy. Divider is your fun attack. Okay. Super Sun attack. What's Bash? Ooh, that's cool. That's cool. Wait, does the sword always shine, or is that only when we have a buff? It's only when you have a buff. Look at that. Heliosphere is cool as shit. Okay. Dash attack slow as all hell. Oh my god. Yeah, she's very slow. Yeah, she is. Wanna go? Gawain will melt her. Melt her to dust. That's how much you're melting her if she turns to dust. Ooh, we could... No, that takes too long. Are we feeling adventurous? Because we can fight that boob spider, or we can fight boob spider 2.0. I'm gonna go fight boob spider 2.0. Let's do it. We'll ifrit the dungeon, and we'll go fight boob spider. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, it's a higher level one you can fight. Oh, I forget about them all the time. We should do a lot of testing in there, to be honest. It's a really good idea. Alright, if it would be faster. So where's he at? We can use Yune. Or Yuno. And I know we're going on a bit of an adventure, and I know this is a guide, but this is how we learn. This is the thought process, and understanding the thought process, it always helps to understand. Like, okay, like there's one thing like where people ask me, Oro, can you send me what you have on your vanguards? And I was like, okay, sure, and I do that, and that could completely replace a guide. But when you watch or at least listen to this video, I hope that you understand. Oh, Oro put these skills on his weapons, and then he went in and tried them. Oh, he learned that he can use his buffs multiple times. He changed his skills to reflect that. Like, there's reasons for things. The woods of is she in the woods of Shigure? Or is she in the... I don't know if she's in the woods or not. Or is she in the other dungeon? I think Genshi Grove. I think it's Genshi Grove? No! No! No, she's in the woods of Shigure. She's not in Genshi Grove. Fuck Genshi Grove. She has to be in the woods. I think. I hope. If she's not in the woods, we're gonna lose. Oh, it's the woods that has the big head. It's not Genshi Grove? Oh, then I'm getting out of here. We're gonna lose. You're right. It is this guy. Because I remember the frogs. Okay. Alright. Sidetrack aside. Where is it? Is it just straight ahead? Mine of Aragane. Genshi Grove. Okay. There we go. We'll put it to scale. You want to lurk? Are there other people lurking? What's brandishing storm? Okay. Sure. But if I ask questions, please help. Oh, this is difficult. They're all just drinking. I'm sorry, I'm not used to horses. It doesn't zoom out when I look at his butt. I have a friggin' mouse. Let's go. Okay, how do horses work? Oh, he dashed. He didn't dash last time. Don't I gotta kill the spider or something? Yeah. Yeah, it's an annoying one. I think you can just skip everything. Oh, this is difficult. I can't do it. Yeah. Oh my god. I forgot this place exists. Why did they make it a diagonal box? Oh, thank god. How many spiders you gotta kill? This doesn't work like the economy anymore. It didn't work. What's this? Oh. Thanks. Or maybe you're talking to Hades. How do I get in there? Oh! Oh, what? They literally just killed me. Why didn't he die? Okay. God damn. I shouldn't have came here. This place is quite bad. You know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. What the fuck is happening? Oh my god. They froze me in time. I was hoping I'd just fill up on the spiders in the boss room. Oh well. Oh, a spider. Oh. Jeepers. I shouldn't have gone to this dungeon at 2 in the morning. 3 in the morning. Alright, Jiro Spider. Oh, I shouldn't be fighting you. Oh, these aren't spiders. They will do. No, Gawain won't die. Oh my god, Gawain might die. Damage cat. Bunch of damage cat. Okay. We're gonna miss the world. Okay. So stab is like just damage cut, basically. You're never gonna hit anyone with Heliosphere ever. Okay. Okay, we hit it. It doesn't really hit in the air. She did fine. Alternatively, if a lot of her moves are slow, you can just go like Radiance Light, and then just spam Stab. Because Stab is such a low cooldown. You just keep, like, I think you hold L1. And we just keep going. You can. And it'd be straight damage caps. But she shredded that guy. No problem. Yeah. Shoot your holy light. Trying to think, is there anyone else she could fight? Holy and fire. Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know who she could fight holy and fire. Let's think of a practical use. Now, yes, you could fight Logos. Holy and fire. Can't fight Eldritch. Can't fight Lucifer. You can't fight Um,
王が変なところに飛ばされていないといいけど、それより心配しすぎてランスロットがハゲそうなんだよね。
I can't really think of bosses that are weak to holy and fire that we could, like, who would be best to use Gawain on? Like, yes, there's Logos, and she'd probably eat them up. You only use her for Logos? You know, now that I think about it, can she fight the lizard? Yeah, she could probably beat up the Dew Creek bosses for sure. You're right. Can she beat up the lizard? I'm gonna go beat up the lizard. I'll go fight the lizard. I'm not afraid of no lizard, man. Go fight the lizard. Are warp crystals food? There they are. Num num num. Let's go fight the lizard man. Oh, she sucks against the lizard man? Oh. So she would have a bonus damage in there, but since he's a beast, that plays an effect too, the fact that he's a beast. You're right about that. Well, obviously she'd beat Satan. There's no reason she wouldn't beat Satan. You tried her in Akana's dungeon? Wasn't that good? Oh, okay. Well, we'll try it out. But I prefer Ifrit. Let me ride on Destroyer. Did they just mute her? Oh, was Gawain talking? I wasn't paying attention. Hey now, he's mine. Ride, ride, ride. Bouncy, bouncy, bounce. Am I living on Mars? Yeah, Mars bars. I'm living on Destroy. This takes me back. Should I pick up the drops? You're only in trouble if they use your full name. Yeah, it love beams. Hey. Oh, can we still do this? In the Temple of Dancing Shadows there. Did they kill you in here too? Damn. I'm not rusty, I just think I'm better than everything in the game. So I'm never really worried when anything fights me. I'm like, oh, it hurts me? Oh, I had no idea. Oh. Oh, wow. Alright, let's use attacks and get some. What do we do? Okay, we hit it, man. But that's the reason why Heliosphere gives you the big buff. A big chance for it. Oh yeah, look at that damage. Cause she does bonus damage here, like that's what's gonna happen. Oh, we missed. Shoot. Sacred Thrust is strong, but really slow. Ooh, there's a chain on Gloria. How come it doesn't come out? You have to mash it? Do you have potions? No? Gloria doesn't seem to do much damage. Sacred Divider does a lot of damage. You can't hold the hit buttons, that's annoying. Okay. I want to land that special timing. Did it! I don't know what it did, but I did it. Oh, we're gonna run out of time. Oh wow. Oh boy. I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't expecting any of this. Does fire hurt him? Kinda. Salvation looks amazing. Oh, I got sun. Oh, fireworks really well. Dang. I think she might have just been really strong to use just Corona Stab, Corona Stab, Corona Stab, Corona Stab, Corona Stab. Corona Stab's really good. Yeah, she's 4 scrolls. Corona Stab's super good. What? I've been using wind and lightning. I did use lightning on him. I did. Absolutely. In Akane's dungeon, I used lightning. The first time I fought him. Oh no. Don't say that. Where else can we test her? Kinda. But... Oh, you have... Oh. Oh, no. Hey, look. It's Gawain. I'm gonna freak out if I get attacked by chocolate when I come here. Gawain the Pain Train. Yeah. That's probably her biggest weakness, is that she's very slow, apart from like Corona Stab. Yeah, Lancelot's incredibly fast and incredibly strong in comparison. Hideyoshi too. Hideyoshi is fast, but not so strong. And Gawain is strong, but not so fast. Yeah. Hi, Broccoli. Okay, so I'm gonna fight one of these guys with her. Logos, that's pretty good. I don't think she could do Phoenix. She could maybe do Tengu, but not really. I want to see if she can fight the dude, Tortoise. That'll be my last test of her. Because I think she can work. It's just some moves work and some don't. Like, the Heliosphere, you're never hitting anything with Heliosphere. I really think Gawain will really excel once like a knowledge for fire or a knowledge for holy comes out. And the reason why I would think that, do I give about type? I never cared about type, never. But I was thinking something. I think that when a knowledge mag comes out that's going to affect holy or fire, it's really going to help Gawain, because knowledge mags have attack speed in them, like innately. And the attack speed really helped Akane in her dungeon when I had a Celio one. I think the same could be true for Gawain if there was an attack speed mag. The ice holy mags have negative fire, so it's kind of debatable how useful they're going to be. But Holy Fire Mountain and Ice is left. Yep, you're right. Because we already have Dark. We need that poison mag. I'm down. It's too low. Yeah, one or the other. You're right. That's 50%. Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna do it. 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 Can't do it. How do you do this? I thought it was free. I can't fill up and do it. Never mind. Hey, Jono, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. We're in the tail end of our Gawain guide here, trying her out on things. Trying to make her work. She definitely does work if you buff, buff, buff. She does really good damage if the enemy doesn't resist her. It's just finding those enemies. It's very uncommon to have enemies weak to what she uses these days. Fire and holy. Holy is being the most rare element to use, but when you need to use it, you need to use it. What? I know everything. Don't even get me started. I'm just a tired working man. Put in his 8 hours today and walked for another 2 hours. Damage cap. Corona stab. The build. Okay, it's not even that powerful. Spam salvation. Just go Radiant Light, Salvation. Maybe grab the Corona stab buff. No? How much range does that have? Not that much. True. Yeah. Ooh. Wow, that hurt. That hurt a lot. Oh, we never hit anything with Absolute Bash. I think she does have potential. Okay. So, I think he was probably right that I should probably go to bed. But I do want to give my closing statements on Gawain, how I feel about her, and how she is as a Vanguard. So, I don't think Gawain's like a super top tier Vanguard. I think she's a solid Vanguard. I don't think she's Luna tier. I don't think she's garbage by any means. I think Gawain is a good Vanguard. It's just that they tried to emphasize how powerful her sword swings are by making them slow, and slow is bad. Like, in general, when you're used to the pace of Miyamoto, you're used to the pace of Lancelot. Lancelot's the fastest thing under the sun. Like, generally, oh, you missed out on Lancelot, you get Gawain, and it's just like, oh, this is not Lancelot by any means. Yeah, she has buffs, and she can stack those buffs like crazy, but damage cap is still damage cap. Now, if you can go buff into, like, Radiance and just spam it, then good job. I think the Radiance is really awesome. The fact that it gives you um, uh, like she gives you buffs, and it's really cool. And she has invincibility. That's the thing. She has moves that have invincibility, and that's really good. But you're right. She is very slow. I think Gawain can start coming out when you have achieved like 40 to 50 attack speed when you swap. Because, and that might not even matter. That might not even matter. The moves might just be like that in general. But if attack speed does matter, and when we get holy knowledge mags or something that is going to affect attack speed and holy, or attack speed and fire, or attack speed and slice, like that's not negative holy, then she's gonna be fantastic. Like for example, if any of the classes are going to get mastery or cielo light or holy mag or fire mag, then Gawain's gonna come out swinging, because if one of them has slice and holy and attack speed, it's over. GG. She's gonna do an amazing job. But in all honesty, as a Vanguard right now, her slow attack speed really holds her back. Like I tried to use Heliosphere. You can't hit anything with Heliosphere unless it's blindly walking at you and doesn't do any move that could put you behind the character. I think Corona Stab is fantastic. Her other moves are very finicky. They're not like other Vanguards where, okay, you can hold L1 or just mash L1 and things happen. With Gawain, you have to time it. You have to constantly mash one of her Ogis. There's a timing involved. I don't think she's invincible during all of her moves. She has a lot of weaknesses, and she has to work harder to do more damage than another character. Like Eva brought up, like Sasaki Kojiro, yes, she's an Odachi character. They are similar. But Sasaki Kojiro is much, much faster. She's more so using a longsword katana, whereas Gawain is using a European greatsword, and they're trying to bring that out by making it slow and strong and cleaving everything, but it just doesn't translate. Yeah, her holy moves are really cool that make big area effects around her, like God's Sealing Circle, but you still have to get close, and bosses like to move, and I think if she was just, twice as fast as she is now, she'd be doing hella damage. Because, and if you ever got like a Magatama that did bonus damage, if we ever get bonus damage mags, and one of them happened to be holy, like I think the mod is like that. If you had the holy mod mag from the Yogg event, and you use that salvation, then you would be doing like 20 hits or whatever, how many hits it was. There's a chance for a multiplier. She was doing about 2 million a hit, and it was probably like maybe half a dozen hits, 8-10 hits. It's like 20 million damage. Pretty good damage. It's not Oda damage, it's not Toshi damage, it's not Miyamoto Sepulchre damage, but it's still damage. And as Botch is saying, it's very situational. Like when you need to do holy damage, Gawain's got your back. She might be the strongest holy vanguard in the game, minus Miyamoto using heart, aggression, and just doing the holy spin attack. Like apart from that, Gawain might be the strongest holy vanguard. That could be false because so many other vanguards have holy at their disposal, like Izuna, Miyamoto, like we said, Venus, and Lancelot as well. You're absolutely right. The Lancelot is definitely the strongest holy vanguard in the game. I didn't even think of it. Because to me, I think Lancelot, I think Rain, just because Rain is so much more necessary as opposed to holy. And the new... No, I'm thinking of a new vanguard being holy, but they're not. But yeah, Lancelot top tier Holy Vanguard. Miyamoto, good Holy Vanguard. Gawain is definitely like a B tier kind of Vanguard. She's not horrible, not bad, but yeah, her invincibility frames are quite amazing. When I was using her, she had invincibility frames for days, for sure. And if she needs them, if she didn't have invincibility frames, she would not be landing anything. She'd be dying right away. But the situationalness of Gawain is probably going to come down to a point where, yeah, like a Holy Dark Mia in comparison. Although Dark Mia still has Flash of Retribution. Um, I think Gawain excels where you're fighting enemies that you need a lot of invincibility to fight. So, comparing her to Valkyrie, when you use Valkyrie, generally you use Rockets and Spear as the strongest move she can use. It does 2 damage caps, like 20 million a hit. The best thing about Rocket and Spear is while you're charging it, you are completely invulnerable. And that was really, really effective against the Fire Reaper in the Lancelot dungeons and against Logos Ahriman as well. So that's why Gawain is a good check to Logos, because of all the invincibility she has and the range she has. And in those situations, she will excel. But she's not an omni-powerful Vanguard like Miyamoto or Oda or even Kirin. Like some characters that you just bring anywhere and they do okay, they do really good. Toshi, for example, Inochio. Those characters do really, really well. Gawain is going to fall into the camp of a character that, yes, if you have no other Vanguard, use her because you know it's a Vanguard. But she's going to fall into a camp where, okay, I need to use Holy. I have Gawain. I don't have Lancelot. I don't. And it's really one of those things. Like, if you're in a situation where you have a 5-scroll Lancelot, you have a 5-scroll Gawain, chances are, unless you need invincibility frames out the wazoo, and Lancelot does have invincibility frames as well in her Ogies, you would pick Gawain over Lancelot in those situations. But every other situation where you just need Holy, you're just going to bring Lancelot. Like, if we want to do, like, straight comparison, Lancelot is a better Vanguard. Gawain can work if you just stack buff, 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 buff. But honestly, she just needs more range, more attack speed, and then she'd be doing great. She'd be doing fantastically. But at the current time, with the current skills we have available to us, her slowness does keep her back from other Vanguards. And it does in some situations because of her range, because of how slow she is. She would just end up missing attacks. Like Heliosphere, you just can't land it. You can't land it at all. You're going to probably land the Laser Beam, Salvation, the Ogi Salvation. Moves like that, those are going to get landed all the time. But everything else is slow, clunky, lacking range, and it is a little middling for the character. There are definitely situations she's going to do amazing in that you guys that already have her know, that I don't know. But at a first glance, trying her out for about an hour, she is good. She is alright. And, but she's not, oh my god, I got Gawain, this is goddamn amazing. It's like, oh my god, I got Gawain, this is a solid Vanguard. When it comes to Holy, I'll be able to use her. And in those situations where I need iframes and decent damage, Gawain's got your back. If all else fails, hopefully they give us swimsuits and you can look at the jiggles. But that's going to do it for my guide for Gawain. I know I didn't go into every single move independently. But I think I covered her in a very broad perspective. She doesn't really seem to have that many tricks up her sleeve. She's very straightforward. She's like, if Luna evolved and was a bit better. But you know what I'm saying. But alright, guys, I'll see you tomorrow night, tomorrow evening. I'm gonna go see Endgame tomorrow with my buddy around noon. Then I'll be back probably around after supper time, and we'll do some stuff. So, night Anthem, night Jono, night Eva, night Botch, and I'll see y'all next time. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and have a good weekend. I need water. I brought water over for the video, and I never drank it the whole video.
Honninはサポートがいいとか言ってるけどさ、本当はすっごく腕が立つんだよ。